What was my gateway into horror? Hi, I'm Kira, and 50 days ago I started creating a horror film. I know nothing about filmmaking whatsoever. Everything I do now is either self-taught or you guys have been teaching me some very lovely tips along the way. Now, if you guys have been watching my videos for a few weeks now, you might have picked up on the very subtle fact that I love horror. But were you ever charitable enough to have asked me why? Could it have been because of my hyper-specific interest in vampires and all things related to vampirology? Or could it have been because of all of the Halloween specials I watched when I was a kid, along with all of the spooky, creepy little TV shows, films, which would have only aired around one time a year, but then for some reason never had a long-living legacy enough to continue having those annual reruns? Or could it have been because of my love and admiration for the book franchise Scream Street, which, by the way, the best children's books of all time. I mean, for God's sake, no one ever wants to talk about how tragic recent activities all of the conflicts that happened, not just to drink real blood in front of all these people and defeat them dies. Maybe some people thought he was annoying, but also he was a child. He was a sweet little child, and he deserves so much more. Oh my god, was that my first ever autistic hyper-specific interest? But nope. None of those were my pivotal moments from my childhood which helped me to become the little spooky person I am today. That one moment is because of one person entirely, and that person is none other than George W. Bush. Let me explain. In 2005, Molly Bordonaro was appointed to be the US ambassador of Malta, and as such, her and her entire family got to move here to this very lovely little island. She had one daughter, Brooke, who was not only the same age as I was, but she went to the same school as me, so we were both in the same little school year. It ended up being enough of a reason for me to be invited, along with my entire family, to participate in their annual festive holiday parties. They are the reason I got to experience a full-on American-style Halloween party. I remember I went dressed up as a witch. I had my little witch hat, and I didn't realize that as part of this party, we were all going to go out trick-or-treating in her very fancy neighborhood. Obviously, I didn't have a bag on me, so I used my witch's hat instead. And these sweets were so limited. I was holding it from the brim of the hat, and it was still heaping a little bit. Thank you, former President George W. Bush. Thank you, the Bordonaros. And there we go! If this video happened to make you a little nostalgic about your former self, and you would like to tell me your stories about when you were a kid, what you consider to be your gateway into horror, maybe you can let me know in the comments. Until then, be sure to ask yourselves,